You want to chat now and then shake hands after?
Finished an over earlier. Someone didn't want to take it in the gloves. Oh, sorry.
I've got the ones in
Have a chat.
Yes, I got the hills thing. Very well. Oh, yeah. Well, you also missed it. Alright, maybe just chat here. Boys. Just chat here.
Jump back into that.
Flash more media.
Stay away from the media.
And they're just having the team huddle.
3:30 he's probably not 3:30 anymore.
And so just waiting for them to have their quick huddle. And so the field is fairly absent now. And so we're just going to have to wait until it comes to an end. And you'd have to say a really terrific performance for Diamond Creek in terms of being able to come back after what happened in the first round to actually provide a really awesome display with the bat. Just set such a large total, and then it wasn't anything remarkable with the ball today. In fact, you could say that in terms of who did the best with the bat, you could say Mill Park did it. But the point was that it was a controlled, disciplined and serious bowling attempt by Diamond Creek, and that's why they've rewarded, even though they ended up conceding quite a lot of runs. You'd have to say that they had strategies. And they completed them. And that's the end of that. And so the final word you'd have to say is that Mill Park are really in an unfortunate position because they've lost their second game, and yet when you look at actually what they've done in the two games, they certainly don't deserve that. There's a lot of good performances, especially today. Lots of runs were being scored, and I thought that they were very impressive with the ball in periods last week. And then when you have to look at what happened during the one-day game last week, you'd have to say there were elements of really good cricket in amongst what was a heavy defeat. So that's the last thing we'll have to discuss now until we get to the post-game wrap-up. And so until then, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to have the post-game wrap-up. Okay, goodbye. Catch us after the break for the post-game wrap-up. Do not turn off this station.
Up at 10 to 4, just like 1,000 times before, on 1,000 other days. We took a walk in Silver Springs, I didn't even say a thing, and then it all just disappeared. I was there the day the river went dry. I just watched it flow away. I just stood and watched the river die. 'Cause when all is gone and nothing else remains, you just hope for rain. Saw the dried out riverbed, you broke the silence and you said, said, where did all that water go? I didn't know, so I replied, it's just the nature of the tide. But you knew better. I was there the day the river went dry. I just watched it flow away. I just stood and watched the river die. 'Cause when all is gone and nothing else remains, you just hope for rain. I took you home, you said goodnight. I watched you fade into the light, and then you vanished through the door. My skin is dry as desert air, and there's water, water everywhere. But I'm not thirsty. I just watched you float away. Oh, I just stood and watched the river die. 'Cause when all is gone and nothing else remains, you just hope for rain. Oh. Just hope for rain. Oh, just hope for rain. Oh, just hope for rain.
Hello and welcome to the post-game wrap-up. The game is over. Round 2, Diamond Creek versus Mill Park at the Campbell Street Oval in the G4 grade of the 2017-18 season has come to a conclusion. Diamond Creek ending up the victors by some 50 or so runs. Let's go through what happened today with Park getting bowled out in the final over for 278. So chasing down 330, they made a honourable, gallant, but unsuccessful by quite a margin effort to chase down these runs. And so I predicted that there were two likely events to happen. Either we were going to see a potential outright victory for Diamond Creek, where they would bowl out Mill Park very quickly, and then they would try to take the 10 wickets again in the final session, or we would see a serious attempt at these runs. But in the end, neither of these things happened, because Mill Park fell far behind the required run rate, and they were never really getting themselves into a position where they were going to get into the game, and so they were always 10 paces behind where Diamond Creek were, and so at no point were they really in the contest in the sense that they could have won. But they made a big score, and it looks really nice. A 270 score looks nice, and yet there was never a moment where they said that they were going to like chase down the runs and actually win the game. And so the score is kind of misleading, because when you think of a score of 270, you would say that Mill Park had a real good go, but at no point did they really take on the Diamond Creek bowlers in order to actually try to win. They only ever played their shots in so much as they could get a big score, and they never were in a position to take that extra step in actually trying to get 330. That's not to, discredit Mill Park. It was a wonderful effort. It was a wonderful piece of batting that we saw today, but it was not an attempt to score 330. It was an attempt to score 280, 290, which they more or less succeeded in. And so it was good batting, but it was not an attempt at chasing down these runs in an honest and serious manner. So now let's have a look at the scorecard, and we will have a complete scorecard this evening, but let's have a look at the scorecard for now. Moon scored 7, Guerra 27, Patel a duck, Girardi 86, and we noted at the time that he got a very good round of applause when he went out, and you can understand why, falling just 14 runs short of a tremendous century. That would have been absolutely amazing. Then we come into the Harrises. So first of all, we've got which Harris do we have first? We have Blake Harris scoring 26. Then we have Sacco with 20, and then we have Jay Harris, which is Joel Harris scoring a duck, and then Matt Harris scoring 32, and then finally in the lower order we've got Redino 32 not out, Girardi scored a duck, and then later order hitting by Duran 34. So when you look at this batting scorecard, you see 3 ducks, and then Moon scored just 7, and so 4 out of the 11 players failing to get any sort of runs, that would be a recipe for getting a low score, or getting an underwhelming score. And yet when you look at the contribution from everyone else, they haven't just scored in the teens, they've scored in the 20s, which is quite significant in terms of boosting the score to the level that it ended up being. So, Guerra 27, Harris 26, Sacco 20, Harris 32, and Redino 32 not out, and then Duran 34. This is the bulk of the runs, which allows a 270 score to be made. So when you look at it, other than the 4 players who fail to score runs, you'd have to say that there's a lot to take out of this. Scoring a 20 is quite an important performance, and it allows you to, you know, get into some good form for the rest of the season. This is only round 2 after all. There's still a lot of cricket to be played this season. So a score in the 20s, very important. So now let's have a look at the Diamond Creek bowling. Carr was probably the most disappointing with none for 51. Gleeson was very impressive with 2 for 35. Wilson took 2 for 51. Evans 1 for 29. Jones none for 43. Whedon 3 for 26. Kearney none for 25. And then Jones 1 for 17. So the wickets were shared around, in terms of what happened in the first half of the game, the wickets were shared around by Gleeson and Wilson. And then in the second half, we saw 3 wickets to the leg spinner Whedon, and then to the medium pace of Jones. And so it was a bit of a tale of two tales. 2 types of games that were played, first with the seam and then with the spin and the medium pace in the second half. Okay, so now let's have a look at the all-important votes for the Channel 8 Player of the Year Award. So, 3 votes, first of all 1 vote, so let's have 1 vote goes to Ashley Wilson for scoring a 47 with the bat and 2 for 51 with the ball, an all-round wonderful, excellent performance. Then 2 votes go to Keenan Carr for 100, and he scored a wonderful 100. He did bowl, but was unable to take any wickets, so an important 100 with the bat gives him 2 votes. But man of the match for a unbeaten 120 score, and then taking 2 wickets with the ball, a standout performance with both bat and ball, the only real man of the match that there could ever be, Callum Gleeson, 3 votes. And so congratulations to Callum Gleeson for that performance in terms of getting 3 votes to the Channel 8 Player of the Year Award. So I'm afraid that is the end of this match. This is the end of Panton Hill versus Mill Park. It has been quite a week. We saw an amazing turnaround from Diamond Creek last week, going from 4 for 40 to scoring 330, going from struggling to get even 2 runs a ball to then scoring nearly 5 runs a ball last week. And now we have seen a gallant, a strong effort with the bat by Mill Park, scoring 270 at a very brisk pace throughout. They were struggling in the first quarter of the game, but then they kept scoring. But then they kept scoring more in the rest of the innings, and so the final 3 quarters of the match was a very aggressive scoring by Mill Park, very strong hitting, excellent stroke play, and aggressive singles. The number of singles that they got by pinching runs into the covers shows how aware they were of the match situation, how they were trying to test the fielders, push the fielders back with big hits, and then steal singles by pushing it into the covers. And so it was an all-round excellent batting performance by Mill Park. They definitely deserved their 270 score that they got. And it's going to be a bit of a disappointment now for Mill Park, because 2 losses means that, and a significant loss, I mean 50 runs is no small defeat. So they have suffered 2 defeats, and now the question is, where do they go for the rest of the season? As for Diamond Creek, now Diamond Creek suffered an embarrassing, awful loss in round 1, but they were able to pick themselves up and produce a terrific performance this game, and now they should have their tails up. They should be looking for blood. They should be really excited about what happens next week. They've got a new opponent next week. We're back here at the Campbell Street Oval for another 2-day game. That will be round 3. But until then, I'm afraid it's time for us to say goodbye. So, I am Chukka Wilson, and you have been watching the Channel 8 Local Sports Network in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM, Substitute Radio. This is the 2017-18 cricket season. Diamond Creek versus Mill Park G4 round 2 has just come to an end. We will see you back here at Campbell Street in 6 days' time for the next round, round 3. Until then, enjoy your cricket. Keep bowling, keep batting. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.